Right, buddy, welcome back to the latest Manchester United news. In this video, I'll be talking about Andre Onana exit, a huge boost on the Osimhen deal, Sean Longstaff to Manchester United, among some other interesting stories as well. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. And let's get straight into it now. I'm going to start off by talking about the Victor Osimhen stuff. Now, he came in earlier on today about Victor Osimhen and also some interesting things on Rasmus Højlund. Now, he has a release clause of £63 million. Now, it's coming from Gazzetta Sport, obviously in Italy, suggesting that Manchester United are willing to trigger Victor Osimhen's £63 million release clause. In the same article, it went on to say Manchester United would only be willing to sell Rasmus Højlund this summer if they were to recoup around £50 million. There's two interesting stories on the striker situation. United willing to pay. Let's talk about the Osimhen stuff. United willing to pay the £63 million release clause. I think certainly Osimhen is one of those players who is worth that sort of money. I think he's a very, very interesting striker. I mean, for £63 million, it would be a good deal. You look at what Manchester United spent on Rasmus Højlund. That was a ridiculous. That was like £72 million plus add-ons, I think. So I think with someone like Osimhen, he's 25, 26, so would be at the club you would expect for 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years at peak level. I think the wage demand wouldn't be ridiculous. He wants to play for Manchester United. We're in need of a striker. On the contrasting side, I'm sure many Manchester United fans would love to see Rasmus Højlund. We'll not love to see him leave, but would love the idea of Osimhen coming in and Højlund leaving. I think that would make a lot of sense at this current moment. For me, I still like to keep Højlund though. He's a young striker, and I think United need to bring in a striker who can mentor and someone who Højlund can learn from. And I think that would be perfect for Victor Osimhen. He's got experience, he can score goals. Now, he was heavily linked to Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. If Manchester United could pick him up for £63 million, it would make a huge deal, and I think it would be a big deal for Manchester United to sign this sort of player. He's talented, he's good on the ball, he's physical, can score goals, will be everything you need for the central striker, what you want for Ruben Amorim. £63 million, I mean, United should be able to generate that sort of money from wages, from like Eriksen leaving, Lindelof leaving, Johnny Evans leaving. Then you have departures for Anthony, you probably get 25 million. Sancho, hopefully 25 million, that's about 50. And then Rashford, where you can get £30 million. So we should be able to generate the money for someone like Osimhen. I think striker is the priority position. As well as the inside 10, we've seen and reported that Ahmad would be used as the right wing back, so we probably do need to go into the market for an inside 10. But a striker for me would be one of the first positions that Manchester United go out and sign. And there are limited options out there. I mean, you got Osimhen, Gyökeres, Jonathan David, Atitke. But again, I don't want a young striker. I want someone who's 25, 26. You got Mateta as well. There are different strikers out there, and I think the main issue is United is winning that Europa League, so we can attract some of that top talent. But yeah, that's that on the striker situation. Rasmus Højlund, I don't think he is going to leave. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Andre Onana to Saudi. Now, Manchester United are reportedly looking to move on Andre Onana at the end of the season, with the Saudi Pro League being the most likely destination. Sene Lemons from Royal Antwerp and Lucas Chalavier from Lille are potential replacements. So the goalkeeping situation is very interesting. I think it's obvious that United want to get rid of Onana. I think after 2 seasons, it would be a very poor deal. I think at the time, it was a very, very good deal, spending 50 or 45, £50 million on a goalkeeper like him. I think De Gea, for me, what he's doing now at Fiorentina is fantastic, and I would have loved to keep him. But in terms of Onana, I mean, it does make sense. I think Onana to Saudi would please many Manchester United fans, and I don't think it's a priority deal. I don't think it's a deal that would get done this summer. I think it's certainly a deal that United will look at a point of maybe next season. I think this season we need to focus on a striker inside 10, maybe a right wing back to cover with Ahmad, maybe a midfielder, and maybe even a centre back. So we'll see where a goalkeeper does rank on that priority. I think Onana, for me, doesn't fill many Manchester United fans with confidence. He's a bit of a shaky keeper. And I think as much as he's done well for Manchester United, he is a pretty shaky and poor goalkeeper. I think Amorim needs to assess the goalkeeping situation, whether that's, obviously it's not going to change in the near future. Onana will still be playing and he will probably have good games. But I think for me at the moment, it goes striker, number 10, right wing back, midfielder, then goalkeeper. I think that would be fifth choice. I don't think a goalkeeper is a huge priority. I think we definitely need a striker more, which I just talked about there, and an inside 10. But let's see what happens with that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Sean Longstaff to Manchester United. Now, it's coming in from Lee Ryder, who's a Newcastle journalist, suggesting that Manchester United are interested in signing Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. Now, a player who doesn't even play for Newcastle, obviously they have Gumarias, Tonali, Joe Linton's in there, Willock. Now, he's barely getting any game time now. I'm pretty sure we were linked to Matty Longstaff, his brother, a couple seasons ago. Now, listen, United should be doing well better than this. I mean, some of the midfielders on the market, you got Edison, Metcher we've been linked to. Like, no disrespect to Sean Longstaff, we're hoping to build a Premier League winning side under Ruben Amorim, and I don't think, if you can't start for Newcastle, which they are doing better than us, but if you can't start for them, I don't think he'd start for Manchester United. I think there's still much more creative and better midfielders United can get. As I said, Edison from Atalanta. I genuinely don't think Sean Longstaff's probably better than Collier. I mean, there probably won't be too much in it between them. So I think United should steer away from this sort of deal. I think, as I said, we do need a midfielder though, because Eriksen's going to leave. Casemiro's hoping to leave. You don't know what's going to go on with Mason Mount. We can't rely on him. We have Ugarte. We will need a midfielder coming in. Who that's going to be, depending on the budget. I mean, you could see someone like Sekou Kone being promoted from the academy. But a midfielder is someone who is definitely needed for Manchester United at this current time. Someone with that quality, creativity. Literally just Eriksen, who's like 10 years younger, and would be absolutely perfect for Manchester United. I think we have the competitiveness and the energy and the legs from Ugarte. And I think Bruno's done well in there. And I think you need someone, you have Collier. You probably need, not a Bruno replacement, but someone who can give good competition, like at Eriksen to Bruno Fernandes. And in that 10s, you have someone like a Mini, you have a Mount, Ahmad, if you want to use him there. And you bring in a number 10, Garnacho as well. But let me know your thoughts. That has been the latest Manchester United news. Now, Victor Osimhen to Manchester United, let's see what happens. There's been a huge development in that deal. £63 million United are willing to pay. On the Højlund situation, I don't think he's going to leave. United obviously been linked to Sean Longstaff. I think that's just a load of nonsense. I don't think we will go out and sign him. Also on the Onana situation as well, let me know your thoughts on him to Saudi. But yeah, we keep you up to date. I mean, this international